man, that's greatness right there.
Okay, Grand Rising, beautiful souls. It is your girl Luna Darling, and we are back for another Luna Darling podcast. Um, Previously, we recorded this and we got cut off, so we had to come back and we had to redo it all over again. Um, so for this week of the Luna Darling podcast, I will be getting interviewed by the Divine God, Marlei Tamare. Um,
Blissful
when
risings, everybody.
Blissful Risings, Marley. When you
Yes,
first brought it to my attention, I was a little taken aback because I'm so used to interviewing people. And when you said, well, let's give the people a little window upon who Luna Darling is, right?
right,
And
right.
so I agreed, and so this is why we are here this rising. So first and
Yes, indeed.
foremost, welcome again to the Luna Darling podcast. You guys may be aware that Marley was just on a few weeks ago talking about the discussion of health and his wealth, speaking about his CMOS business and all the other ventures that he has going on. And so, um, Grand Rising, God, Grand Rising.
Rising, grand rising, priority rising, top of the dawn, all that greatness. Um, First and foremost, thank you, appreciation and gratitude for allowing me to be able to interview you so that people can know a little bit more about Miss, or not even Miss, the goddess Dr. L. Darling. It's truly an honor, truly an honor. Yeah, when I first brought it up to you, I was like, man, she about to say what? Nah, but it was like, you know, it was just like, nah, like they got to know a little bit more of you. You know, you're the one that's always asking the question. And they know you as the podcaster or the Luna Darling experience. So I was like, nah, let's give them a little open window to who Dr. L. Darling is. What she does besides whenever she's not, you know, on the Luna Darling experience.
Okay. Well, I'm here for it. Um, Again, thank you.
Gratitude.
Gracious gratitude. I divinely appreciate that. Um, First and foremost, before we start this rising, I do want to give gracious gratitude on to Ra. I do want to give gracious
Indeed.
gratitude on to the universe. I do want to give gracious
Ashe.
gratitude on to the ancestors and our spiritual guides that guide us. As
Ashe.
I said to you earlier, today is the Sweet Oshun Day, and her energy is very vibrant and very present. And we want to show appreciation and gratitude and respect and homage to those who came before us that paved the way for us to be here today. So, with that being
Yes,
said,
indeed.
welcome, welcome, welcome. And I am excited, and I had a chance to look
Yes,
over your
indeed.
questions and take some notes. And so, if you guys see me peering down at my, guys see me peering down at any given moment, that's because I'm looking over my notes to make sure that I didn't forget anything. I do want to make you guys aware of that. Okay.
Yes,
All
indeed.
right.
Yes, indeed. Ready?
I am ready. Yes, I am. Let's get this show on the road.
All right. First question. Can you please enlighten the viewers on what it is that you do other than being a great podcast host as well as a spiritual advisor?
Okay. Well, for starters, I wear an array of different hats. I have a lot of different titles under my belt. I assist my community in any way that I can in fashion or form of high vibrational, unconditional love and support. So, with that being said, I am a certified Reiki master practitioner. I am a birth doula. I work both prenatal as well as postpartum. Um, I am a published author, both of self help books as well as children books. And I also run an organization called Knowledge is Power, where I supply the community with free books to fight the stigma of dyslexia as well as financial literacy insecurities in our communities. Why? Because
Yes, indeed.
one, two reasons. A lot of the children now are so prone to electronics that they rarely read, right? And then two, for the children who do love to read, their parents may not have the funds to purchase the book that they want. And so I feel
Right,
that it's
right.
my duty that I paired with the Brooklyn Book Bodega, and we supply free books amongst different communities within Brooklyn. If you guys ever see um, an empty shelf that may be on a corner or in front of a park, or I'm pretty sure you guys may have seen them. Those are little Nook
Like the
libraries.
free book stands. Right.
Right. And so I try to fill those up. In the summertime, I do have events where I give out free books, not only to children, but as well as to their parents. Um, and so if you guys may see any of those empty, please reach out to me by my email and let me know that they need to be filled. And I have no problem coming to your community and filling up those book nooks for the kids. As well as, even if you as a parent may want some free books for your children, please feel free to send me an email explaining books that the child may want, the genre that they are interested in, and I will do my best to get it to your child as soon as I can. Okay. Besides that, I am an ordained minister. A lot of
I
people
was
are
just
not. A lot of people are not aware of that. I am an ordained minister. I do weddings. I do christenings. I do funeral services. Um, I do premarital counseling, um, suicide prevention, trauma, uh, trauma work and healing. I'm doing a rare, so many things. I am also an artist. I paint. I draw. Um, I create magical, beautiful things with my hands. Is what I would say. I'm also a crystal distributor, a medical assistant. I am a student of life as well. Is there anything that I may be forgetting?
um yeah.
I am a
I think you
mom.
mentioned
I am a mom first and foremost. Um, and yeah, I think that's it.
author.
I said that. I mentioned that I'm an author.
Oh,
Oh, um, I do conduct meditation. I did forget about that. I do have
meditation
a
training.
channel on Google Podcasts where I have an assortment of different meditations, guided meditations that you guys can listen to. So definitely go on Google Podcasts and check that out, the Luna Darling Experience.
Yes,
Um,
may I say they do work and do work.
yes, yes, they do. And that's it. At this point at this point in my journey, that is it.
Uh, so that's like you said, you
Oh,
hold an
I'm
array.
telling a whole story out here in these streets. I am also a physical therapist. For the last past few months, I have been working very closely with children with disabilities as well as with horses. So I have been doing that for the last past couple months also. So I did forget that. So yeah, that's it.
Shay, yeah,
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Shay to that, Shay to
I'm
that.
thankful for
Standing
I'm
on
thankful for
business.
beautiful all the beautiful miracles that spirit has brought into my life
I
and
should,
allowed me to do.
I should. All right, next question. What spoke to your soul about getting involved in the medical field and slash industry?
Okay, well that is a broad question because it is it's not just one thing that kind of spoke to my soul about that. It's a large array of different different goddesses who have came before me, um, as well as my mom. So first off, let me start off by saying again, I pay homage to the great divine mothers of our history, not his story, but our story. Okay.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
and and so with that being said, I give gracious gratitude on to Sky Mother Newt for her divine womb, right? Tahiti, the great mother of manifestation,
Yes.
by speaking life, learned through wisdom, and grace, right? And then
Yes.
Beth, the great mother of movement, who activates our
Mhm.
sensuality within our divine womb, okay? Within our divine lotus flower. So I have to pay um, homage to Het Heru, right? The great mother of beauty, also of will and determination. It's very important that we um, become knowledgeable, great goddesses and these great divine queens that came before us, to give us the knowledge that we can carry forth, not only for ourselves, but for those who may come after us, our children. Sometimes we have
Lineage.
to
Yes, indeed.
uh, um, learn to unlearn to relearn, right? And so sometimes bringing forth this information to our elders is helpful for them as well. Um, a lot of people may not know of the great Sekhmet, right? The divine mother of healing. A lot of women may not be aware of the great mother Mayat, right? She who provides and receives. um Again, there's so many people. I also would like to pay homage to Mother Takata. She is the first woman to study Reiki healing, and
Mm.
bring forth
Okay.
the knowledge of Reiki healing to her village, to other women, to teach them so they can be healers amongst their communities as well.
I might want to take notes.
One of my favorites, a current elder, Queen Afu, very, beautiful master teacher.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, but to answer your question, um, besides, because I had to do that, as a divine goddess, I have to show appreciation and gratitude
Yes, indeed.
to
Yes,
my
indeed.
divine teachers, to my divine masters. Okay, it's very important that you do so. But what spoke to my soul about the medical industry was my mom. My mom has always been a healer. She's always been into medical care. She's always been into creating different remedies for people's illnesses and sicknesses, cooking for people to nurture their soul back into a healing state. Um, I remember, I believe I was about 8 years old, and I was getting ready for school one morning. And when I stepped into the living room, I seen my mom in her full blown nurse uniform. One of the most beautifulest visions I've seen in my time, in this, on this timeline, is what I will
Right,
say.
right.
Um, and she had her full blown white uniform on, her stethoscope around her neck, and she it was just, her aura was so bright. She was so excited to start something new. She was excited to heal people. She was excited to create change. Um, and for me,
Purpose.
seeing my mom, and you know, mom, she's still such a very helpful person. My mom, to this day, she still gets up every morning, gets out to go help other people, to assist other
Right.
people with their healing, with their health, both physical, mental, spiritual. That's just my mom.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Literally. Literally.
everybody who knows me and knows my mom knows that my mom has just a nurturing spirit about her. And so seeing her like that, when I graduated high school, for me, it was like I had tunnel vision. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what industry, what field I wanted to work in. And so I went to school. I went to college. I went to Plaza College to study medical assistant. Um, and there, after that, I went to another trade school where I learned about medical billing and coding. Um, Medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, biology, phlebotomy work, learning how to hook up an EKG system, knowing how to hook up the electrodes to a person's skin to get a proper reading. Um,
Mm.
and then from there, I went into doing an internship. For me, when I went in to speak to my student advisor, when she asked me, where did I want to do my internship from? Again, I'm a Brooklyn girl, so I wanted to stay in Brooklyn. She asked me where I wanted to go. There was a doctor's office on Eastern Parkway, and Caribbean doctor, and I decided to go there to work underneath him. I worked very closely underneath this doctor, very closely underneath the head nurse. Um, their names aren't coming to me right now at this moment, so forgive me for that. They taught me so much. That doctor, um, literally, he stressed about the knowledge of experience with patients, not more so of what you learned in the book, what you learned in the classroom, but how do you interact with a patient? How do you interact with
Hands
them when
on.
you come in the morning? What is your empathy levels like? Um, Bedside manner, how to work smarter and not harder by finding solutions to problems. Again,
Right.
he was into holistic care, right? He was a holistic doctor. But he still worked, again, knowing what he knew from graduating medical school. Again, they have to carry these things forward with them.
Right.
Um, and so for me, I think all of those things is kind of what sparked my love, my knowledge for health, for healing, for assisting people with living a better lifestyle. Um, and and so yeah, I would say those were the things that kind of spoke to my soul, kind of spoke to my spirit, what kind of awoken the inner healer that was lying dormant in me that I had no knowledge
Right.
of, you know, uh, uh, pre my conscious journey.
Mhm.
Is what
Right.
I'm gonna
I
say.
just wanna I just wanna say though, what I just caught though, outside of the outside influences, and we've had conversations about this as well before. The big impact of your in-house influence.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And as we know, as we see nowadays, that is very scarce right now. Like the impact of the kids looking up to their parents now, because nowadays we know it's kids are disrespectful to their parents. So that's what stuck to me, that you had that inside influence, like that
Well,
self representation, that high vibrational, you know.
right. Well, again, you guys just recently see my dad on here, and he does a lot of community work and a lot of giving back to his community. But besides my parents, my grandparents, my grandmother, Mrs. Creola Barino. She was another healer as well. My nana, who is on my dad's side, I watched her as a child make healing oils. I watched her crush up garlic and lemons and limes and brew different remedies with thyme and with basil
Right. Mhm.
and her, as she would call it, her holy oil was olive oil to her, the most purest oil, right, or coconut oil. um
Mhm.
and so I learned those things again from my village, I learned from a young age about how to care for your community, how to nurture your community and uplift your community. Now, I'm not going to say as an adolescent I wasn't a little out there, right? But my family structure is what pushed me through to be the woman that I am today. Is what I'm going to
I should. I should.
say.
All right. Next, with your experience, knowledge, and wisdom, why do you think some of our people are hesitant to go visit the doctor?
Okay. Okay. Well, first and foremost, let me just say this. So our people have a very dark past with trusting in the medical industry, right? Trusting in medical professionals who are supposed to care for them and their well-being, which has not always been the case. Again, I just spoke to you about both my grandmothers. My grandfather, Mr. James Barino, um, God rest your soul, um, he refused to go to the doctor. Okay, this was a man who was born in 1914. Okay, he refused to go to the doctor. Um, the first time he did go to the doctor was due to, I believe, him having high blood pressure or a heart issue or something like that of that manner. And I remember him distinctly telling my mom and my grandmother, I was fine before I went to the doctor. There was nothing wrong with me. I was healthy. I was strong. Now I went to this doctor. I feel weakened now. I have to take this medication. I have to take this medication. I can't eat this certain food. I can't do this certain activity. Um, my grandfather loved to drink. He loved to smoke his cigarettes. He loved to dance. We called him James Brown because he would bust out a two-step in a second. Full of life. And he was upset about that. He felt like, as a man, why do I have to give another man power over me to tell me what to do with my God-given body? Is how he felt. My uncle now, who's suffering some health complications, also is stressed to my mom. I was fine before I went to the doctor. Now that I went to the doctor, this is wrong with me. Because a lot of black people feel like whenever they do take the initiative to go to the doctor, it's always something bad that they have to hear, which again goes back to our dark history of our people suffering at the hands of Caucasian physicians, right? Um, and in the medical industry, outside of the medical industry, okay? And we're talking back to slavery, made pre-slavery as well also. There's a book by Harriet S. A. Washington entitled Medical Apartheid. It's about the medical experimentation on Black Americans from colonial times to present day, as we sit here and speak now. In the 1700s, as a matter of fact, during slavery, a lot of slaves were sold, as we know, yes, to work on the plantations. But what a lot of us are not aware of is slaves were sold um, for medical experimentations, right? They were purchased um, for what medical scholars will call medical science. Okay,
Right.
in today's day and age, right? I don't know if you're familiar with Marion J. Sims. If not, he is the quote unquote father of gynecology. However, he is
Oh,
one
okay.
of the most
Okay.
monstrous surgeons that have ever walked this plane. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, but we're gonna get into him a little later because
Right,
he
right, right.
coincides with
Once you said
the
once you said the whole thing of gynecology and the month, it clicked right there. I knew exactly who you was talking about.
right. So yeah, we'll definitely get into that a little later. But the Tuskegee experiment, one of one of one of I'm gonna say our story again, because we
Oh yeah.
have written knowledge of ancestors who experienced that. I myself have a great ancestor who was a part of those experiments, and to the point that the syphilis affected his brain, caused him a chemical imbalance, which caused for him to have developed schizophrenia. Okay,
Right.
um um based based off of the drugs that they were administering back in that era to black men. Okay.
Right.
I don't know if a lot of people may know about this because I doing my knowledge, doing my research. And I say doing my knowledge because again, it's me taking the initiative to know something, to make myself aware of things
Right.
that I may have not known aware of in my community or outside of my community or just within the black or brown communities. Okay, between the years of 1992 and 1997, in New York City, as a matter of fact, um, the New York State Psychiatric Institute and Columbia University sought research to link genetics to violence, right? And
Mm.
so they went into inner cities and they recruited 126 black children between, well, excuse me, black boys, okay, between the ages of
God
six.
is God is God is. I don't mean to cut you off, but can you please stress what you just said? Genetics versus what?
um, to link genetics with violence, right? Um,
Whew.
and so they didn't pick another race, right? They went into the inner city communities and they coerced the parents to allow them to take 126 children, 126 black boys from the ages of 6 to 10 years old into a hospital environment for 24 hours, right? Um, um, for them to go underneath this experimentation, right? The
Oh
parents,
damn.
the parents were given a $100 Toys R Us gift card to allow these white physicians to come and take their
And
children for
take the
24
kid
hours with the promise that no medication would be administered to these children
for a Toys R Us gift card.
for $100 Toys R Us gift card. Now, when these children are taken into this
Yo,
hospital environment, what these physicians told their parents that there will be no medication administered, which was a lie. They had administered a synthetic serotonin drug, right? For those of you who might not be aware, serotonin is a chemical in the brain that allows for us that basically controls our behaviors in a sense.
yeah.
Okay. And so the drug that they used was flenfluramine, if I'm pronouncing it the correct way. If I'm not, please forgive me. Um, Again, it's a drug that mimics serotonin. Okay, and as I explained, serotonin is a chemical that is naturally in the brain that is responsible for certain behaviors. Now, after this experiment was done on these boys, within a couple of years afterwards, a lot um, a lot of what took place was implicated in brain damage. It
Mm.
caused an increased aggression in these children.
And we talking about little boys.
And we're talking about little boys from the age of 6 to 10 years old. Now we know how pivotal that point is in a young child's life, right? They're still growing, they're still learning,
Right.
right? Their brain has not been fully developed. And so now you put this synthetic drug into their brain, into their young bodies. And as they get older, it starts to affect them in a negative manner. And instead of you taking the accountability to say, we did this to these children, we did this to these black boys who have now grown up to be black men who have a problem, who have anger issues, who have who have heightened aggression, who don't know how to harness their emotions the proper way, who don't know
Right.
how to
Don't
to
have the emotional intelligence.
right, no emotional intelligence. They do not know how to distinct a happy cry from a sorrow cry. You understand what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And without the proper knowledge from their parents, say this is this and that is that. They're walking around trying to figure out, why am I so angry? Why did I wake up like this morning? I was a happy child from 1 to 5 years old. Why from 6 to 10 and on? Now I'm so angry.
Everything is
Everything
right.
angers me. Why do you think there were so many 600 schools, right? In the 1990s, a lot of these children was
Behavioral
experimental.
issue.
A lot of these children, I'm not going to say that there wasn't there wasn't a lot of hereditary things, okay, that may have caused for these children to have the behaviors that they had, okay. But at the same time, a lot of these things were pushed into our communities to affect us in a negative way. um a lot of black people have suffered from um intentional intentional, okay, contamination. How many stories have we heard between the 1980s, right, to early 1990s of people, of black people going in and a doctor telling them they need a blood transfusion for something, and they decline and they
Right,
declined
yeah.
and still woke up to hearing, oh yes, you had a blood transfusion. Oh, and also we apologize, but the blood we gave you was HIV positive. The
Yes.
blood we gave you was someone who was infected with syphilis. And they wonder why black people don't feel comfortable. Why should we
Right.
give our trust to an entity that has never shown an ounce of empathy, sympathy, an ounce of humanity towards our race? This is why black people feel this way, and they have every right to. I'm not going to say black people shouldn't go to the doctor, black people shouldn't care for their health.
That's how real it is.
But again, you can't give somebody power, right, over your body, over this godly temple of yours, right,
Right.
who doesn't have an intention to do any good for you, right? And so it's like just a huge racial systematic umbrella that black people have suffered from. We have not been able to use that umbrella as shelter, as a safe haven. We have not been able to do that. And so this is why we feel the way that we feel now. Prove us wrong, and we'll be more than happy
Absolutely.
and open to walk into a doctor's office. For me and my children, it was very important for me to have a doctor for my children, a pediatrician that known me from when I was pregnant with my girls to the time I gave birth, to him discharging my babies, to him being their
Hmm.
physician now. Okay, it's very important because they can monitor the growth of that child. They will notice when something is not aligned the way that it's supposed to be aligned.
Right.
Okay, so
I'm telling y'all, I hope y'all taking notes, man. Like this, and this is why I asked for this interview to go there. Like, do y'all see this? Like, she's always asking questions. She's, she's always putting things together like, nah, take a seat real quick. Take a
Have a
seat
seat.
real quick.
Right.
Fall back. Take a seat. Have a seat. All right, let's keep this going. Next question is like a two-part question.
Okay.
Um, based off of the wisdom you just dropped on myself and everybody else,
Right.
what improvements and or changes are needed in your opinion? That's part A. I don't know if you want me to read the second part or if you just want to take it.
Wait, I did write your questions down. So okay. Okay, so your question is with my experience, knowledge, and wisdom, why do you
No,
think?
we you just answered that one.
Oh, we just answered that. Okay. What
The next
improvements
one, right?
that okay or changes are needed in your opinion? Um, huh. Again, again, the process of unlearning what you've learned and relearning
Mm,
something new.
relearn. That's right.
It's important. Why? Because we have to we have to take into consideration that everything that was written, right, that we gain any type of knowledge or wisdom from was written from somebody else, was written from somebody else's point of view, right? Was written
Right.
from the experience that somebody else had, right? And
Right.
so I think that we have to be open to accepting change, right? Because if we keep declining change, if we keep running away from change, we're not accepting something that can possibly help somebody else. There are so many physicians, old school physicians that are stuck in their ways, right? They creative criticism to them
Yeah. Right.
is is a threat. Um, I want to express something. Um, when I gave birth to my children, right, my spouse asked the doctor, "Is she okay? What's happening?" Because he sensed that I was in some form of distress, right? Marley,
Of course. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
and when he asked the doctor these questions, the doctor became very defensive. The doctor became very
Oh yeah.
disrespectful, right? As a birth doula, a lot of fathers feel like they don't have a voice. So not only am I advocating for the mother, I'm advocating for the father as well. Because a lot of doctors and a lot of physicians are not used to men being in these delivery
And
rooms
on deck, hands on. That's right.
hands on. And so
That's
for
right.
them, they don't give them the respect. They don't give them the recognition. They don't give them a voice.
Let me distinguish when I say hands on, meaning not being forced or no, hands on. As a man, as a divine, you being hands on there. Like, yeah, they're not used to that.
Yeah. And so it's a very tense environment because again, these doctors are so used to how they operate, so used to what
Mm,
they feel is best, right? And so they ignore the request of the patient.
right. It's like
And
they feel
so
threatened to be questioned.
right, how the audacity for
Yeah,
you, a common folk, to sit there and question me, a highly educated individual, a skilled surgeon,
right.
because it's my body. That's why. That's why. It's my body. So, yes, I do have the right to question you. I don't care how much experience you have. It's your duty. You took an oath.
That's right.
You took a Hippocratic oath that simply says that what you do is to take care of other people for the betterment of their health. What do they always say? The customer's always right. In the
That's right.
medical field, that is not
Man,
It's it's non-existent. To sadly say, it's non-existent. Okay, so that's one, and then the part the part B, I believe, was what was the question again? I just want to make sure we're on the
do
right.
you feel do you feel there is heavy discrimination? I think you covered that. Yeah, I think you just covered that. It was, do you feel there is heavy discrimination? One, financially, two, racial.
Of course, of course. Uh, uh, Something as simple as walking into a doctor's office and handing over your insurance card.
Hmm. Talk about it.
Why?
Hmm.
Because when you hand over this insurance card, depending if it says benefits or if it says health first.
Listen, y'all.
When you walk into a doctor's office, they already distinguish the treatment that they are going to give you based off of your insurance. If you are a Medicaid recipient, understand that you will not be receiving the best health care. You would think so because you say, well, Dr. Lou, it's government funded.
Things this.
It's government funded. Again, what has the government done for us as far as our health is concerned? So I want you
Connecting
guys to
dots,
think
y'all.
about that. I want you guys to think about whenever you go to the pharmacy to pick up a medication, if you have full coverage, you're fine. If you're not, you have to pay a copay to get your medication
With the government funded.
with the government funding.
Right.
Now again, if we go back to the Black Panther Party, you have brothers and sisters and kings and queens and gods and goddesses who were waking up on a daily basis, not worried about getting paid a dollar nor a penny, but worried and concerned about the health that was in their community, worried about their fellow man, their fellow woman, and their children, supplying free health care, free education, free food, free programs. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that in order for someone to be healthy, they have to pay to be healthy.
Make it make sense.
It's alarming. So yes, I will say that it's a lot of discrimination financially. It's a lot of discrimination racially.
Heavy.
Because I'm gonna tell you something else as a birth doula. When I first became a birth doula, I wasn't working I wasn't working with my inner city. I was working outside of my community. And the women that I was working with, they were paying me in cash. Am I going to be honest with you and tell you that they were Caucasian women? Absolutely. But for me, what weighed heavy on my heart as a doula was what's happening in my inner city. How many mothers are losing their lives? How many children are losing their lives? How high are the maternity and the mortality rates in my city? So yes, I stepped away from that and I started working for free,
Mhm.
for free as a birth doula. Why? Because a lot of these moms, a lot of these young moms, I'm talking teenage moms, I'm talking moms that just came home from being incarcerated. I'm talking moms who are
Right.
experiencing domestic violence. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have the finances. And at the time, Medicaid was not reimbursing doulas. That program was not initiated as of yet.
Mhm.
And so a lot of us doulas were working for free. So again, pay attention to that. Pay attention to this. And as a doula, I'm telling you, pay attention to the service that is provided to you when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your race, when it comes to who you are. Because another thing, me as a conscious, divinely orchestrated and guided goddess, when I walk into my doctor's office and I have and I ask them certain questions, right? They're surprised that I even know these things. They're surprised that I'm knowledgeable of these things.
The wicked thing is when they take offense to it.
Absolutely too. Again, how dare you question me? How dare you question my authority as a physician? Why? Because I did the same studying that you did. Because I received the same education that you did. It may have not been an Ivy League, but a book is a book. Medical terminology is the same.
Knowledge is knowledge.
Knowledge is knowledge, honey.
Knowledge is knowledge.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Ready?
Yes.
Next one. All right. Now I feel we about to get into something that another part, and it's kind of dope. All your answers to the questions that I have is like they're literally leading up into the next one. Um, so next question that I have for you is how do you feel about the lack of information on midwifery in the urban communities versus modern day gynecology?
Ah, okay. Personally, um, personally, I feel alarmed
Why so?
because because as a healer, right? And again, I specialize in wound healing, right? Midwifery is a very ancient practice
Yes, indeed.
because it comes from the heart, it comes from the soul, it comes from an empathetic nature to naturally want to care for somebody and to assist and to help somebody. Midwifery comes from an old woman that somebody will run down the road and get whenever somebody was in labor.
And it takes a lot. May I
She,
say, it takes a lot.
yes, she had the granny hand, as they called it in that era, catching babies. But she wasn't only catching babies; she was caring for the mom for during prenatal. You understand? She was making certain elixirs, brewing certain teas, making certain ointments, having certain recipes that will give mom strength that she can nurture her baby. She can nurture
High
herself,
vibration.
right? And then when mom would give birth, she was there coaching her, motivating her, supporting her, holding space, wiping her head, moving her hair away from her face, guiding her breathing. The alarming thing for me with gynecology is this goes back to Marion Sims, as I was
There we
out
go.
as I introduced earlier. His methods are still being taught to this day. And he caused so much strife amongst black women's wombs that we still carry forth that energy in our wombs from our ancestors. Now, this is a man who is proclaimed as the father of gynecology, right? I refer to him as a diabolical, demonic bastard. Excuse my French. But let's
Straight like
call
that.
a spade as we should call it. Yes?
Straight like that.
His barbaric techniques cost a lot of queens, a lot of goddesses, a lot of children their lives and their dignity. He robbed a lot of the slave women of their dignity. He performed a lot of experimentation on their wombs, on their uterus. Again, uterus, you are us. You are us. So we carry forth that energy. We carry forth that trauma in our wombs based off of the things that he did. Okay? And I'm talking him performing surgeries that left women with an inability to hold their urination, to hold their feces. He would perform these surgeries and send these women back out on the plantation within hours. No painkillers, no anesthesia.
That's blood hemorrhage.
A lot of these women bled out on the table, Marley. A lot of these women lost their lives. A lot of these women weren't able to carry a child moving forward. So they lost the ability to be mothers. And they still teach his
Same
technique
methods to this day.
to this day. They still use the instruments that he created, that he invented on women to this day, that causes us a lot of discomfort during these vaginal examinations to this day.
Y'all paying attention? Y'all listening to what she's saying?
Any queen, any goddess will tell you how uncomfortable it is to have that examination done. So can you imagine a racist white man who experimented on me, that now that I healed weeks later, my slave owner wants me to return back to this office to get a checkup and evaluation to determine how I was healing. So now I have to face the abuser who traumatized me. They have knocked down statues. They have did protest to destroy his legacy. But again, he's been rewarded. He's been rewarded amongst medical scholars. And again, his legacy is still being taught today. To me, it's like, how, again, the question that you asked me previously, how can we welcome and change when, again, you're still using something that affected these women on such a grand mass level? You're still incorporating that to this day. So to me, you're still saying what he did is okay.
Right. And we have a whole open line of midwifery going on.
Literally, every time a black woman walks into a doctor's office, every time a black woman walks into a gynecologist appointment, her soul is reminded of those tragedies. that had took place. Like our universe is the seat of life. Do you understand that?
Peace to the goddesses of the earth.
And he had no regard for our seat of life. And in my opinion, neither does the current gynecologist that we have now. Because again, they're still using his method. They're still using his instrument. They're still using his techniques. In fact, during labor and delivery, one of the positions that he used, they still use them, which is a woman being placed on her back with her legs upright to push the child out. As we know with gravity, that is not how a child is supposed to be born. In fact, that causes more discomfort, that causes more stress onto the mother and the unborn child. There's more work that has to be done to get that child out of that temple. There's more stress that is being added onto the body. And again, as a doula, I have had so many conversations and I advocated to the point that they will call me a big mouth doula because I'm advocating for my client to be upright, to allow her body to do what her body is originally supposed to do as a woman.
That's you just standing in your power.
And I'm just standing in my power, trying to shine the light on my client's power.
Right.
Right. And again, I said in a previous podcast episode that I was on, and I quoted Marcus Garvey by saying, you can't complain about change if you aren't making an initiative to create that change, right? Why aren't they creating change? It's 2024, and I question myself, are we in 1824 when it comes to women's health? We are still allowing men to tell women what to do with their temples. Look at the abortion laws. Simple. Look at the abortion laws. How is there a man that has never experienced carrying a child or experienced the growth of the embryo, which your body literally starts to betray you to determine what you should do with this child that your body created? It's alarming. It's really, really alarming. Because it's like,
that's very alarming.
I'm a pro-life person. I'm to the heart. I'm a pro-life person. But I also do believe that queens are responsible for making the best choices for them and for the betterment of their family. Right?
Right.
And the entire experience is just dehumanizing. Now, again, when I go into midwifery, right, I would have to take you into the history of midwifery. Again, I just explained to you the role of a midwife, right? Now, at a certain point, midwives were demonized as well. They were criticized and said that they were dirty. They were unsanitary. They were causing deaths. They were causing more harm than good. They didn't have the proper education. They didn't have the proper knowledge. And so they went into these villages and they went into these communities and they made these women take classes, nursing classes. Now, some women didn't have the money, of course. And for those who did receive the free education, trust and believe it wasn't the best. In fact, I would say that they were instructing them to do the wrong thing. And so, in fact, they can actually cause harm to the mom or the baby. Now, again, there was hundreds of children that were born previously before they instructed these midwives to do this.
Right.
So why would you think that it was something wrong? Is it because it wasn't in a hospital environment? You
Hmm?
men, you Caucasian men didn't have any control. Again, it's all about control. The medical industry is all about control, control of the health, control of the mental. We don't even want to get started on the mental health and, and,
No, we
and
good.
how they have abandoned these people who struggle with mental health.
Literally. Keep them stabilized and stuck.
Exactly. Um, Also, midwifery. If you look on the walls of ancient Kemet, right, you would see the goddesses squatting down, being surrounded with her family. That's why I'm a huge advocate for water births or for natural births. We need a loving environment. We need a nurturing environment to bring these children into. A child is not supposed to be born with a cry. Children are not supposed to come out of the womb crying. When a child is born, they come from darkness. They come from water. They should be birthed in
Should
that
be
same environment.
right.
They should be birthed in a serene environment, in a low light environment, in a peaceful environment, in a cleansed environment, in a supportive environment.
Right. Ain't
It
no doctor
should,
slapping your baby.
yeah, they should be met with praises and grace and love and
Yes, and love.
appreciation,
That's right.
not panic
Gratitude.
and
Yeah.
chaos. So yes, I'm very passionate about that. I'm very passionate. I'm a huge advocate with to my clients and for my clients to have a water birth, have a natural birth. If you are not high risk, have your baby at home.
May
They
I
they
add?
taught us they taught us to cut the umbilical cord after birth. That removes 80% of the blood volume of these children.
As well
Now,
as the whole thing with the placenta too.
right, that's right. That's what I mean. And so
Mhm.
we practice. I've learned as a doula to practice lotus birth. A lotus birth is to allow the child to stay connected to the placenta until it naturally falls off on its own. The placenta does have to be cleansed. The placenta does have to be dressed with certain herbs to assist with the dehydration of the placenta. A lot of women also um, are able to dehydrate the placenta, blend the placenta down into capsules because all the nutrients that are stored in the placenta is very good for the health of the mother during the healing process of her womb, okay, during postpartum. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's it. That's how
Yeah.
I feel about that right there, honey.
All right. There's really no need to ask the next question because you, like I said, you answered it. So I'm gonna just go ahead on to the next question. Um, Medicine. Let's get into a little bit of medicine real quick.
Hmm.
Uh, just a quick opinion. Your opinion quickly on traditional medicine, which if anybody was fully in tune, you should have had gathered notes and pretty much should possibly know where she's gonna go with this. So your quick opinion on traditional, and when I say traditional, I mean pills, surgery, etc.,
Right, right.
versus something that you're involved with, and something that I involved with as well, holistics.
Okay. So first and foremost, this goes back again to the atrocities of the medical industry. So as we know with traditional medicine, right? It's like you go to the doctor, you say, "Hey doc, I haven't been feeling well lately. I may have a fever. I may have a pain in my back. The first thing the doctor's going to say, take this prescription, go to the pharmacy. I'll see you in a week or two.
Right.
Patient come back. Doctor says, hey, how you feeling? Oh, I feel a little better, doc, but now this is bothering. The doctor says, oh, you know why? Because it's a side effect from the other one that I gave. So now I'm going to give you another medication to combat that symptom from the other medication to balance you out. So now at this point, you don't went to the doctor for one thing and you're taking the medication for three different things. For three different things. Traditional medicine, again, medicine. Medicine is administered to the sickly, right? Medicine. Think about it. It's something repetitive. It's something that you have to take on a repetitive basis in order for you to feel better.
Feel better, not heal.
Not healed, to feel better. And when you don't feel better, oh, we're going to give you something else to help that too. And that too. And that too. This is why Big Pharma makes so much money. I tell people all the time this too. As a birth doula, what I learned. When a woman goes into a hospital environment to give a natural birth, it's about between $10,000 to $15,000, right? When a woman goes into the hospital to have a C-section, that's about between $30,000 and $40,000. So what you think these doctors is gonna do? They're gonna push for that C-section because there's more money. Traditional medicine is all about again not addressing the issue at hand, not addressing what caused for this to happen. Because if we're gonna be honest about it, and this is gonna lead into holistic care, right? Every medication that a person receives, right, has originally came from a plant. It came from a plant. Simple, right? That is what holistic care is. Holistic care is a plant-based healing system that is put in place to assist somebody with the healing process of whatever is happening with their body at that time. Now, when I was a child, my grandmother used to say to my mom whenever we would get sick, put her in the sun, sit her in the sun, allow the sun to dry up that phlegm, or allow the sun to bring up that phlegm. Exactly, so she can purge it out in a sense, right? Sunlight, the great divine Ra, okay, he is medicine. He is medicine. Plants, again, comes from Ra, comes from water, comes from soil. That is nature. We have to allow ourselves, again, we come from nature. Our ancestors, okay, were holistic beings. They didn't have a pill. They didn't have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they had herbs. They had herbs. They went into the forest. They went into the jungles. They knew what herb to pull. They knew what root to pull. You understand what I'm saying? They knew what to grind down to make certain powders.
Listen, y'all, why y'all think there's just to chime in real quick, why you think they call it allergic reaction?
Right, because it's something, a substance that's going inside of the body that the body is not used to having within its natural state. So what is invading my space is what I have to eliminate. So my body is going to have a negative reaction towards it to alert me, hey, this isn't what's supposed to be going within our body. Me personally, I'm allergic to penicillin. Why?
Same here.
Because penicillin is a synthetic, it's something synthetic that is put into our body to attack any type of infection that we have. Why do you think we have white blood cells? Why do you think we have red blood cells?
Our body's genetically made to do that already.
Our bodies are genetically made. Our genetic makeup is one of the most beautifulest things that the Creator has ever created. We are the walking future. Our bodies, we evolve. We evolve on a daily basis. Whether we choose to, whether we welcome it, or whether we do not.
It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen. You have to go through the photosynthesis of change. You have to go through the metamorphosis of change.
Just like nature. See the correlation,
Just like
y'all?
nature.
See the correlation?
Your diet is very important. What you put into your body, what you put into the temple, what you replenish yourself with, how you care for your temple. Are you eating fruits and vegetables? Are you eating colors?
Colors.
Are you incorporating colors within your plating? Are you doing the
about a
proper
piece
portion?
of steak with white rice and broccoli? Like, I gotta look up this information, man. She's talking.
Literally, look up this information. Don't take my word for it. Again, I come on here to give you guys the knowledge that I personally received, for you guys to take it upon yourself and do your own research. And I welcome any of you to come back and we can have a very productive dialogue about what you may have learned, because I may have not crossed that bridge yet and learned that. So we can build together.
Timestamp 11/11 Ashe.
Ashe, oh, may the ancestors speak. Right. Okay.
Ready? Want to keep it flowing because we got two.
Yeah, let's keep it going because I see the time. Let's keep it going.
Being into holistics as well, can you drop for the viewers? I think you know what I'm about to ask you. Your top 5 herbs that you have in your arsenal, and name one property of each. Just one property, because I know.
Well, you know me. It's impossible for me to name one property.
I know it's like when it, and that's the amazing thing that I really hope that the viewers take from, besides getting to know who Dr. L. Darling is. Like, when it comes to this holistic and this medicine, not medicine, sorry, this holistic and these herbs, it's just so amazing how something that you literally walk out your house and you think that is just a piece of weed or grass or something, you'd be amazed at what some of these things can do. So, all right, let's go. Top 5 herbs.
Okay, I'm not going to give you 5. I'm going to give you 6. The reason I'm going to give you 6 is because I'm an even number Nubian. And again, our genetic makeup is 666, honey. So we're going to vibrate on that frequency, right?
With the 6. All right, let's keep it like that.
Okay, so first and foremost, again, as I said earlier, today is an Oshun day, right? It is a praise for the sweet goddess of
mother goddess
of love and of sensuality and beauty and grace and wisdom and all of those beautiful things. So with that being said, my first one would be vanilla. It's used for love and sensuality and seduction, as well as peace. It promotes vivid dreams as well that people may not know of, as well as good luck and within good business. And that is just some of the spiritual components of vanilla. As far as health wise with vanilla, it's very pure. I would recommend for anybody to get it in its purest form, and it's also fun kind of scraping it out its root. You know what I mean? And that's just the alchemist in me that loves that loves to incorporate different textures and smells and scents and to incorporate them with all the senses that we carry within our bodies. Um, I want to say Blue Lotus. Blue Lotus within the spiritual community is highly recommended for so many different reasons. One, because it relaxes the mind and the body, and it is great as a tea brew, or it is also great in a smoke blend as well. Do so before meditation. Do so before bedtime. Do so just when you want to commune with spirit. Sometimes it's very good to light certain herbs and allow them to burn and kind of tap into the smoke. Smoke is a form of divination as well. Okay.
Just in case you
Um,
didn't know.
um, Mugwort. Mugwort is great for protection, divination, again, astral travels. Also very good for blood pressure, high blood pressure, cholesterol, um,
Yes,
uh,
indeed.
you name it. Demiana, aphrodisiac for all my
Damiana.
gods and my goddesses out there, who may indulge in the magical flower. Um, Roll you something, okay, with your honey,
Sprinkle them.
and sprinkle a little bit of that on, and it's just as great as eating clams or oysters or whatever
I
you.
recommend.
Yes, absolutely. Um, Tarragon. Tarragon rids the body of any bad toxins. And it's also great for any type of form of weight loss. Okay, so if anybody is on a weight loss journey, definitely look that up. It can assist you with that. Um, Coriander. Coriander, I love coriander because it lifts spirits, right? I know a lot of people use coriander like with their food and stuff, but it's very good for lifting moods. It combats stress. It inspires love, a loving environment as well. And last but not least, I want to say cinnamon. Cinnamon is a very ancient herb. As
Yes,
we know,
yes.
it can be used to raise spiritual vibrations. It can be used to lower cholesterol, high blood pressure. It can be used as an additive for certain cough medicines, certain cough syrups, certain elixirs that you may make. It is very great for healing ailments, such as ailments of different pains. Um, it also brings in prosperity and abundance. It is very good for using during sex magic rituals as well as for funerals with cleansing and purifying the environment and the area and setting a positive intention for spirit to follow the scent into a peaceful afterlife. Um, so yeah, so those are uh my six herbs that I love to use and other properties and things of that nature.
That is so dope. That is so dope.
Okay, well, let me see if I got any more.
Before, what you got? You got some more
No,
after
no,
that?
I think that's it. Go ahead.
All right. Just before closing out, once again, to anybody that's watching this, if you anything that the goddess has said, you already know what to do. Go in the comments. She'll get back to you in her best convenience. Once again, goddess, thank you, honor, much love, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for allowing me into this space to interview you, to allow the viewers that have been tuned in and tapped in with you, whether it has been on the YouTube or social media, for them to get a little more information about you. Um, and so, before closing out, do you have any encouraging or positive vibes in general for the collective?
Well, you don't always have something positive to say. Um, First and foremost, I want to say to you guys, thank you for watching the Luna Darling podcast on a weekly basis. Um, it's because of you why I get on here and I interview the people that I interview to give you guys the knowledge that I feel that you deserve, and the truths as well. What I want to say to you all is keep your energy pure, keep your energy positive, keep your energy balanced. Focus on your healing. Focus on being a better you. Um, Focus on being an authentic you. I just spoke with somebody the other day about imposter syndrome. It was you. I was talking to you about imposter syndrome,
Right.
and
Right.
unfortunately, it's we've been plagued by that due to social media. Um,
Mhm.
Stop trying to be somebody that you are not.
That you are
Um,
not. Right.
you don't need the glitz and glam to experience the beauties out of life. Um, Take the time to love yourself. Take the time to get to know yourself. Take the time to forgive yourself, forgive your soul. Take the time to water yourself, water your brain.
Pull heavy, y'all.
Take the time to nurture your body. Like we all move on fast time so much, right? Everybody's moving, moving, moving. Stop and take the time. Make you a cup of tea. Sit down and read a book. Make you a spiritual bath. Make you a bubble bath. Okay, and I'm not only talking to the goddesses, I'm talking to the gods also. It's okay for you to take a bubble bath, honey. it's,
Oh,
it's okay.
hey, yes, it's all
It's
right, y'all.
okay
It's very
to
relaxing.
right. It's okay to accept love. It's okay to give love. It's okay to be open to receive love. It's okay to be affectionate. It's okay to have humor. It's okay to be light. It's okay to be love. It's okay. It's okay to be you, to just be. Stop trying to
Shit.
fit into a box that someone else put you in. Break out that box. Life will
Don't
be
serve
so
you.
much more easier for you. Okay. Um, I do know that we have some planetary things that is upcoming. So again, this is why I'm stressing you guys for you guys to heal. Release what no longer serves you. All those things keep you stagnant. All those things weigh you down. They no longer served you as they did once before. It is okay. Drop the bag. As Erica Badu said, bag lady, and I refer to this all the time. If you see this bus coming and you running for this bus, how you catching this bus? If the creator says, hey, I have some beautiful gifts for you, but I need you to drop what you have so you can open your arms to be able to catch it, you got to drop it. It doesn't make you. It's okay. So I do want to say that. I do want to tell you guys, too, to love yourself. Love yourself first and foremost. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. Um. Also, I I I always say this, but I forget to bring them on. So I do have some work with me. This is my book that you guys
There you
can
go.
find. See it?
Right there, right there. Hmm.
Okay. This is my book. You can find it on Amazon. It is a watch pot, don't get cooked. I learned that from again my grandmother, Mrs. Creola Barino. She would say that whenever we were being patient. If you keep peeking, 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 you will never be able to fully appreciate what the creator has in store for you. So just flow. Just allow life to just life. Okay. Um,
Right.
Second book is I
Uh,
wrote this book. It's my children's book. I do have another one coming out pretty soon, but it is Sugar Goes to the Ballet, and I wrote this um for a representation of the greatness of us for our children, um, for the promotion of our natural hair, for the promotion of our magic and all the beautiful things that we carry that our children embody also. And so do check those out. Um, Again, if you guys would like to be a guest on the Luna Darling podcast, please feel free to send me an email at drldarling25.com, and just, you know, tell me what you would like to come on and discuss, and I'll be more than happy to do so. If you guys may need any of my services that I provide, again, please reach out via email address, or you can contact me on social media, Dr. Luna Darling Experience, as well as Luna Darling on Facebook. On Instagram, I am Dr. Luna Darling Experience 222. I believe I am.
Yeah, the Luna Dolan Experience 222.
Right. And with that being said, thank you guys for joining us this week. Um, Remember to water yourself. It's important to do so. Marley, thank you so much for this interview.
No
I'm glad that
problem.
I agreed to it.
Much
So
honor.
cool.
Much
You did an
honor. Much
amazing
honor.
job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I was nervous as hell, but it was an honor. Definitely was an honor, man.
Well,
Definitely
thank
appreciate it.
you.
I hope everybody that was tuned in and tapped in, I hope y'all really, 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 really got some vital information. If you wasn't able to take notes, just rewind it back. But definitely thank you. Everybody enjoy the rest of your rotation. Uh, it's Friday, y'all.
It's my
It's
holiday.
Friday,
Go
y'all.
out and go have some fun. Go make some memories. Go live your life. And it's a little cold, but enjoy the sunshine from Ra, okay? Because his rays is what graces us on a daily basis that allows us to continue to grow. Okay?
Right.
And with
I
that
would
being
also
said,
say I
go
would
ahead.
also say real quick, I would have encouraged everybody to go out tomorrow to try to get some of that blessing in the rain, but it's gonna be too cold. So take advantage of the sunlight right now if you can before the clouds come in, and so
Well,
hey, I
speaking
shoot to
of that,
everybody.
you guys can always put a container outside to catch some of the water, shift the water out, and use that in a spiritual bath or during your shower or just to wipe your body down. Okay. So with that being said, may you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, love and light filled Friday, and enjoy
Love
your
you all.
weekend. Stay safe, stay productive, be prosperous and abundant. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week on Monday for Man Monday. Marley, take care. I'll speak to you later. And for you
Have a
guys,
good one.
love you much. Later, guys.
Peace. Peace.